Hello there, staff. The purpose of this video is to make sure we are all on the same page when it comes to late work guidelines for second semester. Your site-based management team just in the last couple of months has been discussing trying to come up with a late work policy that brings us all a little closer to similarity in how we deal with work when it comes in late from students. Again, this has come to light during COVID, maybe a little bit more than previous to COVID, but it's probably an issue that has existed here for longer than just during COVID. So we definitely want to just move to a point to where how teachers deal with late work is very similar across the school, but certainly within departments and PLCs are, if not exactly the same, certainly have the same effect on student grades, so that depending on who the teacher a student gets for a particular class doesn't have the ability to affect their grade too much. I hope that makes sense to you. If you have any further questions about any of what I do in this video, please speak to your site-based management team rep, and I think they can explain to you sort of how the conversation went. This was an issue we dealt with for about 3 months in site-based management team before we came to these guidelines. These guidelines are in TWIP, so by all means you can refer back to TWIP for them in writing, but I wanted to do a video just to add a little more context and a little more detail to them. So first of all, the first thing about late work is we do believe in late work at Forest Hills High School. So all assigned work is important to the learning process, or should be important to the learning process. Hopefully everything you're assigning to kids is important to the learning process, and therefore we will accept late work. So that's the first thing. If we have teachers at Forest Hills who don't accept late work at all, we are saying that that is now something at Forest Hills that is a school-wide policy. We do accept late work. And the reason is because everything we assign is important in the learning process. Ultimately, learning is what we are about. And so therefore, if the assignment is important in the learning process and students are willing to do it, we're willing to accept it. Okay, but with that said, the second part of that is late work should have consequences. We do want to teach our students the importance of meeting deadlines and turning things in on time. So you should not be accepting late work for 100% credit. There should be some kind of a policy that takes points off, that punishes or penalizes students when they turn things in past a due date. So that really comes up to the conversation around PLCs and departments. We're not going to dictate to you how you do that, but again, we shouldn't have one teacher who teaches English 1 taking 50% off and another teacher who teaches English 1 taking off 5%. We should have a similar late policy within a PLC so that no matter which teacher I have for English 1, my grade is going to be affected by late work equally. So that's number two. So that leads us to the next thing. The PLC department will ensure that light courses have the same late work policy. So that, again, I've already said that once, but I want to say that again. You should be having this discussion in your PLC. Does it have to be exactly the same within the PLC? No, but it should have similar consequences and similar effect on student grades when a student turns in things late. So you got to work within your PLC or department to do that, all right? And the last thing is your parents and students should be aware of what your late work guidelines and policies are for your class. They should be posted both in writing on your syllabus and shared verbally with students and parents through video or face-to-face very early in the semester. So that later on in the semester, if you have a parent who's coming back and questioning why late work isn't accepted after a certain period of time, or why the late work is having these points taken off, you can refer them back to where you've put that in writing on your syllabus, or refer to them that this was discussed with students very early in the year. So it's very important that this becomes something that you put into your repertoire at the beginning of the semester as far as rolling out what all of your policy and procedures and practices are in your classroom. All right. If you have any questions about this, again, you can start with your site-based rep, but by all means, I'm always available to discuss this with you from a philosophical standpoint or an actual implementation standpoint. If you wish, just set up a time with me and we'll be happy to talk about it, okay? Have a great day.